The exotic class items are now in the game, which of course means there is many different roles you can earn on each class item for every character. However, some perks are shared in between, and some perks are only partial bits of what is available on the actual exotic itself. I am going to show you in this video what every perk can get, what is shared, and at least what not to expect when looking at some of these perks. As you might see the perk description and think it is one-to-one the exact same as the exotic, but some are actually missing a lot more details. Now, just as a warning, these prismatic class items will again only be available in prismatic, so just keep that in mind going through these. But starting off with the left column shared perks, we have the Spirit of the Assassin, which is a part of Assassin's Cowl. However, it is a much simpler degree where it is pretty much just melee powered final blows, and then finishers grant invisibility on enemy defeat. Much less than the original Assassin's Cowl, but still powerful nonetheless. Next up, we have Heart of Inmost Light, which is going to be very good for all classes combined. Basically, using any of your abilities between grenade, melee, or class ability empowers the other two, granting increased regen, but it does seem to not carry over the increased damage or increased health for the variety. And the last in the left column for shared, we have the Ophidian aspect, which does, again, only have a small portion, basically making it so that all weapons ready very quickly, but that is quite literally all it is from Ophidian. Nothing else for airborne effectiveness or reload speed. For the first of the shared right column, we have Star Eater Scales, which it does shave off a little bit, but the important part of Star Eaters is maintained in that Orbs of Light at full supercharge can overcharge your super and grant additional damage. I'm not sure how this would pair to things like Falling Curious, or things like Nova Bomb, but it definitely is something that would be good for options. Similarly so, we also have the Synthecept, which basically makes it so you have improved melee damage while surrounded. While it might not be the best for super damage, a Liar's Handshake build on a Hunter can always go burr. Lastly, for the shared options, we do just have the Verity's Brow, which makes it so that weapons final blow with a damage type that matches specifically your grenade grant a stacking grenade damage bonus. However, it is lacking the regeneration that was probably the main reason people use Verity's Brow, so keep that in mind. Now, moving into Titan specific left column, the first thing we have up is Spirit of Severance, which is basically Severance Enclosure, making it so that your powered melee final blows or finisher do unleash a damaging explosion, which is pretty much the main perk, so it is completely there. There's then Hoarfrost Z, which keeps the bit about the barricade spawning a wall of stasis crystals that slow anything nearby. However, the stat buff or weapon ready speed is not included. Spirit of the Eternal Warrior, of course, includes Eternal Warrior, where you gain a damage bonus for your weapons matching your super's element when your super ends, but that is it. There is no overshield and is no longer arc specific. Of course, it doesn't have the other bits because you don't have access to Fist of Havoc while on prismatic. Then Spirit of the Abeyance, where it makes it so that you get improved Drenger's Lash, and the lash projectiles track aggressively and travel further. However, it does not include the Woven Mail buff. Rounding up for the left column Titan perks, we have Spirit of the Bear, where you move faster while guarding with the Unbreakable Shield, but not Banner Wall because you do not have Sentinel Shield with Prismatic. You do, however, get reconverted to Super Energy, just like Ursa Furiosa. Starting with the right column, we have the Point Contact Cannon Brace perk, which makes it so that damaging a target with a powered melee causes any nearby enemies to suffer lightning strikes and become jolted. It is branched off just from Thunderclap, including any powered melee. Very good. However, it does not include the amplified increased range, I do not believe. With the Spirit of Scars, of course, being Precious Scars, we have that final blows with weapons that have a damage type matching the super element creates a burst of healing around you that grants allies restoration. It does not include a bit about the reviving or being revived that generates an aura of overshield for your allies. For Spirit of the Horn, it includes the bit about the Solar Blast unleashed from your barricade, but does not include anything, and it also sounds like it does not work with Thruster, but more on that in Mythbusters. Then Spirit of Alpha Lupi, where you get a healing pulse when the barricade is activated, but you do not get the extra orbs from supers. And lastly, for the Titan, we have the additional grenade charge for Armamentarian. However, you do not get the grenade final blows spawning orbs of power. Moving on to Warlocks, we have Spirit of the Stag, where your Rift provides damage reduction to any allied guardian standing in it, but it does not have the emergency regenerate or the healing Rift on death for your corpse. For Spirit of the Filaments, you get Casting and Empowering Rift will grant you Devour, but does not include the additional Overload when standing in the Rift. Spirit of the Necrotic, where damaging combatants with your powered melee poisons them, but defeating a poisoned enemy also spreads the condition, does not grant the same aerial effectiveness bonus to the Weapons of Sorrow, however. Spirit of Osmiomancy includes, of course, Osmiomancy Gauntlets, where grenades recharge quicker on hits, and the Seeker spawn from Cold Snap grenades travel further, more neutral, but still afflicting Cold Snap grenades on its own. And Spirit of Apotheosis, including Apotheosis Veil, granting greatly increased melee and grenade regen after your super ends, but that is quite literally all it was, instead of regenerating health and everything on super cast. Moving on to the right column perks, we have Spirit of Vesper, where the Rift periodically releases arc shockwaves, but that is quite literally all it is when it comes to Vesper of Radiance. No extra arc super, explosions of blind, or recharging faster. For the Spirit of Harmony, aka Battle Harmony, final blows of weapons that match your super's element will grant you bonus super energy, but does not give you bonus damage buffs alongside it. For Spirit of Starfire, you get it so that while standing in Empowering Rift, your grenades recharge from damage, and Empowered Weapon Final Blows, granting additional damage, but does not give you the additional grenade ability charge, but that is pretty much it, and it doesn't do the back charge of granting you Rift energy on hits with the grenades itself. For Spirit of the Swarm, it makes it so that killing a Tangle spawns Threadlings, but that is quite literally it, and unfortunately does not carry the Threadling or Unravel bonus. And simply for Claws of Ahamkar, it grants an additional melee charge, +1 from the base, but it does not, however, give you the orbs on final blows. And starting left column with the Hunters, we have Spirit of the Dragon, where using your class ability reloads all weapons and increases handling for a short brief of time, which is pretty good because it is everything that is Dragon Shadow, but more of a Crucible-based perk anyways. For the Spirit of Galanor, hits and final blows with your super will return super energy after it ends. However, it does not mainly focus on Blade Barrage, as well as not including the extra throwing knife final blows decreasing the super. For Foe Tracer, damaging a powerful combatant or guardian with an ability grants you a temporary damage for weapons that match that ability's element. However, you do have to spec out a little bit more, obviously with Prismatic, and you don't get a elemental pickup on defeat as well. For the Spirit of Caliban, it makes it so that power melee final blows trigger ignitions. However, it does remove the specialness with Proximity Scorch Knife or additional recharge, so it might be a little bit more difficult, especially since Knock 'em Down doesn't have the immediate throwing knife recharge anymore. And lastly, for the left column, we have the Spirit of Renewal, where allies inside, specifically a Dust Field Grenade, will take reduced damage, and targets inside the area deal reduced damage, so it is still specific to the Dust Field Grenade, but it does remove the additional Frost Armor that was freshly buffed to Renewal Grasp this season. For the Spirit of Cicheranchi, which I still don't know if I'm saying that right, it gives Woven Mail anytime you use your grenade, but it does remove the bonus flinch resistance while using said Woven Mail. But it is expanded to any grenade, doesn't have to be just the grapple. Keeping the handy part of Spirit of Gerfalcon, your void weapons gain volatile rounds after you emerge from being invisible. While still holding Stylus Executioner, this means it is quite powerful. But you do lose a lot of the other parts, of course, getting overshields on Finisher's Wall, invisibility, and a lot of the other bits. But the volatile weapons is probably the main thing that people use Gerfalcons for. For Spirit of the Liar, we get dealing damage with a powered melee or being hit by a melee attack will allow you to follow up with a powerful melee counter punch, which of course can go for any element. It doesn't have to be specifically arc, and including combination blow means this can still hit pretty powerful. It does not keep the additional health though. For Wormhusk, it is 1-for-1, the same as dodging gives a smell health and shield bump, basically meaning so you get a little bit of extra health on dodge. And lastly, we have the important part of 6 Coyote, granting additional class ability charge, but losing Reaper in its stead. But with that, that is every perk that is available for all of the class items across every single character. Again, I tried to explain as best as I could what is included, and of course what not to expect with the perk, as I know some people might have seen Gerfalcon and expected the void weapons, as well as the overshields and everything like that, but it is quite literally just volatile rounds. Same thing with Galanor. I know some people were possibly expecting the super recharge on powered melee final blows, but that was limited to just super hits and final blows, recharging your super. But with that, I hope this was helpful to you, and any like and subscribe will definitely help out the channel in more ways than you would know. My name is TheMadScorpyon. I will see you in the next video.